Hey guys, I am so excited about today's recipe. We are making a gluten-free banana bread that is also grain-free and it's naturally sweetened. And it still tastes delicious. This bread gets me so excited. And when I get excited, I dance like a robot. So I had to cut gluten out of my diet 6 years ago because of health reasons. And one of the foods I missed the most was banana bread. I tried so many different gluten-free banana bread recipes and none of them lived up to my taste standards, and also so many of them involved so many ingredients. I wanted to create a really simple gluten-free banana bread that still tasted like my grandma's version, but that was really, really quick and easy to make. I think I nailed the nail on the head. This version comes together in one bowl using just almond flour and a touch of arrowroot powder. That's gonna help to bind things. And it's naturally sweetened with honey, but I promise you won't miss the sugar. I have a serious craving for banana bread, so let's get in the kitchen and start cooking.
First, let's prepare our pan. I have a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan that I'm just gonna spray with a little bit of cooking spray, or you could grease it with a little bit of oil, and then line it crossways with a piece of parchment paper, leaving an overhang. This is gonna make it really easy to pull that loaf out later. One more thing to do before we start that batter, and that is to mash up the bananas. You want to use a nice ripe banana. I actually usually use bananas that are even more ripe than this, but this is all I had. However, this is the perfect time to use up those overripe bananas that you didn't get to eating during the week, or you could even use frozen defrosted bananas. Just no green bananas. They are too starchy and they just won't taste as good in the bread. Mash up the bananas with a fork until they're mostly smooth. It's okay if there's still some little chunks, and then measure out 1 cup. I find that usually that is just perfectly 2 medium bananas, but if you have huge bananas, it's gonna be more than a cup. Okay guys, now it's time to make the batter. I am weighing out some almond flour. I love my kitchen scale because I don't have to get out my measuring cups and it's much more accurate. If you don't have one, it's 2 cups of lightly packed almond flour, but get a scale. Now I'm adding just 2 tablespoons of arrowroot flour, a starchy flour that's gonna give the bread some structure, as well as some baking powder. We need the baking powder for a little bit of lift. And then last but not least, we have some kosher salt. You always want to add salt to your baked goods. It helps balance out all the flavors. All right, my friends, these are all of the dry ingredients. Whisk them up, but better yet, I like to get in there with my fingers so I can break up any clumps of almond flour. Now make a well in the center of the dry ingredients, and it's time to add the wet ones. So first, I'm gonna crack in 2 large eggs right into the center of that well. Hopefully I don't get any shell in there. All right, we're good to go. Now we need some oil. I usually use a neutral oil, like a grapeseed oil. All I had was olive oil, and guess what? That works fine too. Next, honey, and I like to spray the measuring cup with a little bit of cooking spray because it lets the honey slide out so much easier. So we just need a 1/4 cup of honey. Pour that right over the eggs and the oil. Again, we're working in the center of the batter in that well that we made. Using a whisk, I'm gonna go in there and start to break up those eggs. Oh wait, I forgot something. I wanna add a little bit of vanilla extract, about a teaspoon. Okay, phew. Now we're gonna go back in there and we wanna break up the wet ingredients, break up the eggs, and then slowly start incorporating the dry ingredients. Once the batter gets a little bit too thick to work with, just switch to a spatula and just stir it up until everything is incorporated. Now, we can't forget about those mashed bananas. This is banana bread after all, so we're just going to fold in the mashed bananas and it's gonna loosen up the batter and really allow everything to come together. Oh man, I'm getting so excited for some banana bread. Okay, we got that prepared pan. I'm just going to bend down the parchment paper and then transfer the batter into the pan. Now, by the way, if you are so inclined, you can absolutely add some chopped chocolate or chocolate chips to this banana bread, or nuts. Just don't tell my kids, because if I start adding chocolate, I will never be allowed to go back. Okay, now we're gonna spread the batter evenly in the pan. And now, my friends, this little baby is ready to go into the oven and start making your house smell amazing. check the bread around 42 minutes. I found that's the magic number, but all ovens are different. The bread should be golden brown on top, lightly cracked, and a toothpick should come out clean. Now let it cool for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna pop it out of the pan. So just run a thin knife around the edges, and out it comes. Now you guys, this is the hardest part about this recipe. We need to let the bread cool completely. I'm sorry, but that step is critical to get the best texture and the best flavor. And in fact, this bread gets even better with age, so go ahead and make it a day or two in advance. In fact, after a day or two, you're gonna start to get this sticky top, which is my favorite part. This bread is incredibly tender. It has an amazing banana bread flavor, just like my grandma's, but I would say it's even more moist because of that almond flour. So you can serve it just as it is. I prefer to slather it with a little bit of salted butter, just like I used to do as a kid. This easy gluten-free banana bread might just change your life. It definitely changed mine. I now make a batch every weekend and freeze it so we have a nutritious breakfast or snack all through the week. I really hope you guys like this recipe. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to click that little like button below. That really helps me out. And remember, please subscribe. Thanks, guys.
I'm so happy.